Although growing older is a fact of life, most of us never think about the consequences. We assume that we will be able to care for our children and grandchildren on into the future, and we rarely consider that our parents may eventually need to be looked after. Not everyone needs care. In fact, current statistics show that 85% of elderly people never need to move into care. However, in the future, studies show that increasing numbers of older people will need some form of care later in life. While responsibility for that care falls primarily on the family, what happens when the family is unable to supply the care needed, or if elderly ones don't have any family? Many choose Jah-Jireh charity care homes because they are well known for providing care for Jehovah's Witnesses by Jehovah's Witnesses. But what makes them different from worldly care homes? Are they professionally run? Do they do so for profit, or are they some sort of theocratic charity?
What do you think about the fact that it's for brothers and run by brothers? What difference does that make?
Oh, I think it's lovely. You feel safe, you know who they are and what they're likely to do.
And then that fact that you've got your brothers here, you've not got strangers who are smoking and swearing and one thing and another. You know it's a clean home. It's morally clean, and that's the main thing. Because that's all I've known all my life.
For many of our brothers and sisters who live here in the Jah-Jireh care home, they've given their life to serving our Heavenly Father, Jehovah. But for many of them now in their latter years, they may have no family that are able to care for them. So we have the privilege here in their older years of looking after them, and importantly looking after their physical, their emotional and their spiritual needs.
The trustees have a tremendous sense of obligation to our elderly ones, because by virtue of their tenacity and hard work in the past, thinking of the 20s and the 30s and so on, and the things they put up with in order to be Jehovah's servants, they were stalwarts, and we're in the truth today and doing what we're doing because they were loyal and faithful.
So just who are these stalwarts of the truth? Well, Stanley Reynolds is one. He came into the truth as a young man in 1935, and his record of sacred service was published in the Watchtower. What did you do in Bethel?
I was in charge of the pioneer department,
Yeah.
then in charge of the circuit overseers and the congregations. I was really the assistant manager, really.
Yeah. After many years of pioneering, circuit work and Bethel service, he's now become very frail, but he's a treasured member of the Jah-Jireh family. Another resident is Basil Brightwell. How long has he been in the truth?
Just over 60 years. Yeah, I was baptised in 49 actually. And I got pioneering, and then the branch wrote and asked me if I'd go on the circuit work. So latterly we were serving over in Spain. We were there for 18 years, and I was nearly 70 when we went, but Joyce had started to develop this wretched dementia. We came here at the end of August 2007.
Sadly, Basil's wife eventually died, but he still keeps a busy schedule of spiritual activities. He's an elder in the local congregation, still gives public talks and is regular in the field ministry. Basil is not the only elder here. There are several, and they are vital in the organisation of spiritual activities in the homes. There's the daily text, a Monday Watchtower study, and innumerable other spiritual activities throughout the week. So Jah-Jireh certainly fills a vital spiritual need. But does it adhere to professional standards? One area that is a good monitor of quality is the resident's care plan.
Well, on admission, every resident has a care plan put together. What it is it's a robust plan of care, how we plan to look after somebody now and potentially in the future. And it covers a variety of different aspects of their care, but it covers everything that they could possibly need and that we would possibly do for them here in the care home. Say for example a government inspector comes in, they'll look at that plan of care and they will see if we're doing it, they'll talk to the resident, they'll talk to the family, and they'll make sure that this robust plan of care that we've taken the time to build is actually being utilised properly.
Gordon has been with Jah-Jireh for many years and has also worked with hospital surgical departments. His experience, like many other members of the staff, is wide and impressive. For instance, Kathy managed a commercial care home for some years before becoming the care manager here. Laura and Adam also worked in other care homes before coming to Jah-Jireh.
I'm from East Sussex, and I worked most of my life in care industry down in Sussex. I worked for hospices and care homes, and also in the community as a live-in carer as well. So I've been doing that for a good few years now, most of my life.
Although their long experience is valuable, Jah-Jireh has always emphasised the importance of continuous training.
Well, training starts right at the very beginning on induction. This staff development programme goes on everlastingly, really, as long as they're working for Jah-Jireh.
All of our care staff here are trained to MVQ2, and many of the staff now have gained that qualification. Some have gone on now to do their MVQ3. And then when we think of our housekeepers, many of them have now finished their MVQ2 in housekeeping, and the staff in the kitchen have done their food handling and hygiene course. So it now means across the board, all our staff have the relevant qualification to carry out the work effectively. And that instills confidence in, obviously, all the staff, and importantly then for the local authorities, they see that our staff have the necessary qualification to carry out the job effectively, and they're also aware that we have ongoing training for all staff.
And then management now, there's a new course for that, level 5 MVQ, which is quite a high, it's a diploma.
As well as a high level of quality training, there are other areas where the staff have to operate with total professionalism. Take the medication, for example.
Our sister's got everything that she needs in there, whether it's boxed or whether it's in a blister pack. And her name is on it, so we can double check, triple check as we go through it. We check the name, we check the photograph, we check the name on here, check the medication against the mark sheet again to make sure that the right dosage and it all tallies up.
However, despite the strict regulation of running the care home, the staff members all remember that the residents are individuals and they strive to be accommodating.
And there's Florence, she can't swallow. She can't swallow and she eats very, very little. And we try to give her what she wants. She'll have the juice of the soup in a cup, so we give her that.
So it appears that Jah-Jireh's staff really care about the residents. There are several hundred working in Jah-Jireh, and they work here primarily because they love their brothers. Caring for the elderly is not easy, and the wages are not high. Some could earn more elsewhere, but they stay here because they see the residents as part of their family.
I do view everybody here as my family, definitely. It's quite nice.
The atmosphere is so different as you walk through the door. The staff are friendly, we don't hear swearing, any bad language. It's just a really nice place to be.
It's a calm atmosphere to be in, and it's just nice to come to work.
Yeah. Many come in on their days off, simply to be able to chat with the residents, something they can't easily do when they're working.
I love coming in just to see some of the residents, and I think they appreciate that a lot as well, because when you walk in, oh, you're working today? No, I'm not working today. Oh, it's lovely to see you.
Having such cooperative and dedicated staff enables Jah-Jireh to thrive during difficult financial times. Although it operates by good business standards, it is still a charity and costs have to be carefully monitored.
And in fact, because it is a charity, then all of the funds are ploughed back into the organisation to ensure that it can continue to look after the brothers and sisters.
It's set up for Jehovah's Witnesses, and we're also registered for the promotion of Christian religion. So the two elements intertwine very well with one another.
The brothers and sisters who come into the homes, they are partly financed by the local authority because of their health and medical condition. Certain brothers and sisters also recognise that Jah-Jireh is performing a vital service for the brothers and sisters, and so they, of their own volition, perhaps leave some money in their wills. Others have donated assets, and others are quite happy to give on a regular basis, often through the gift aid system. And because of the cutbacks from local authority and government financing, Jah-Jireh is really using its charitable status to offer a number of beds to brothers and sisters who otherwise could not come into the Jah-Jireh homes.
One way that some have tried out the facilities is to book in for respite care. They can come and stay for a period to see if they would be happy here.
But she is a completely different person. It is a new lease of life, literally. She's so high. It's the first time we've seen her. We brought her in a fortnight ago, today, and she's just a different person.
Before that, she was burdened by the fact of keeping a home, of preparing meals, or lack of being able to prepare meals.
Yeah.
So it was a burden to her. She was feeling under the weather, if I can put it that way. But coming here, taking that burden away from her, it's allowed her to expand herself, and she's laughing now. We are ecstatic, really.
Yeah.
That she's able to come into a Jah-Jireh home and be looked after the way she is.
Jah-Jireh has been established in Britain for nearly 30 years and has grown to be a well-respected organisation. So much so that it has been the model for a string of similar care homes in countries such as Canada, Korea, the Netherlands, Poland and the Czech Republic. Other brothers want to establish care homes in the USA, Denmark and Ireland. They form a loose alliance of similar-minded professionals that share their common experience of caring for elderly brothers and sisters by means of a not-for-profit charitable trust. While other independent care homes have been set up to operate as a business, Jah-Jireh is determined to maintain its status as a charity. Unfortunately, this charitable status has recently come under extreme pressure from external world affairs. The current financial climate in the UK means that the environment for care homes is difficult. The recession has forced the government to reduce funding for care homes, while the increasingly aged population means that demand for such places continues to rise. Many care homes in the commercial sector have failed, and their residents face an uncertain future. We can't allow this to happen to Jah-Jireh.
Some of our brothers don't have families, even though the brothers love them. The burden of care sometimes is too much. So since Cliff has moved in, it hasn't stopped the brothers loving him. That's why we're here today to visit him. But I must say that seeing Cliff here, his quality of life is so enhanced. So if the circumstances are right, I would thoroughly recommend the home here.
I was wondering what he was going to be like. I wanted to come and find him happy, and as soon as I saw him, I knew that this is the right place for him. And looking around and even talking to some of the others, they're all so happy because they're with brothers and sisters. To be here is just like being at home, isn't it? It's like having come home, if you know what I mean. And I'm really pleased he came.
Jah-Jireh charity care homes began in the northwest of England and now have additional facilities in South Wales. However, nearly half of our elderly brothers and sisters live in the southeast of England, and it is clear that provision must be made here too. A recent meeting with several experienced brothers produced a recommendation that not just one, but several care homes are needed in the south of England. But how can that be achieved? We have a site, complete with planning consent, in the Medway area and are awaiting funds to progress that. But there's also the possibility that we could use a ready-built home where the previous care home provider has entered into administration. However, while it is relatively easy to find or create facilities, over-reliance on credit during the current unstable financial situation has caused the demise of much larger institutions than ours. So, if we are to care for our vulnerable elderly brothers and sisters and provide a secure environment for them, we need to remain independent of the banks and mortgage companies and should be funded by charitable contributions only. We know that in the future there will be no more old age, suffering or death, but in the meantime, the services provided by Jah-Jireh charity care homes are vital. It is our hope that this service will continue right up until the time that it is no longer needed, and we can all enjoy good health in paradise.